Michelle Obama is not ever going to be president of the United States, but in the months before Joe Biden dropped out of the race, we kept hearing that maybe Michelle would swoop in and save the day for Democrats. The same Democrats who insisted that Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden were the right people to lead the party were enthralled by this magical thinking and this distant, far-off memory of a young, attractive 2008 Michelle Obama, who burst onto the political scene with her telegenic family, Sasha and Malia, and her down-to-earth J. Crew outfits and her Let's Move fitness campaign. Michelle Obama was everything modern-day Democrats dream about. The opposite of Kamala Harris, and certainly the opposite of that Melania Trump. Michelle Obama was their everything, the doting wife, the mother who kept that old Barack in line, the secret behind his magic. Michelle Obama was the future if she wanted it.
We have to eliminate food deserts in this country, and we need to do it now. And finally, we have to increase physical education for our kids. Let's Move is going to take families out of their isolation and give them the nationwide support that they need in a whole range of industries to get their kids on track to live healthier lives, to eat right, to get more exercise, and to be ready to face the challenges of the future.
Oh. The problem is, of course, that Michelle Obama is never coming back because that was never the real Michelle Obama. The version you just saw, like everything else with Democrats today, is the opposite of authentic. Michelle Obama then was an analog, a composite, and what the world saw was not the real Michelle Obama. And even after Kamala failed, even after it all fell apart for Democrats in the fall, the legacy media, still in love with what they remember about Michelle when they first met in 2008, continued to float this idea, this dream, that Michelle Obama was the answer, that she would burst back onto that stage in that sassy, perfectly fitting J. Crew dress and save the party from what it has become. And wouldn't Barack Obama just make such a wonderful, great first gentleman? Come on. The problem, of course, is that Michelle Obama, the one they remember so fondly, the Michelle that makes them feel so warm and fuzzy inside, is not the real Michelle Obama. And we are finally starting to see that real Michelle Obama today. And like most Democrats in Washington, she is a one-dimensional, race-obsessed, absolute bore.
For me, it's, what's happening to immigrants. So it's not the fear for myself anymore. I drive around in a 4-car motorcade with a police escort. I'm Michelle Obama. My fears are for what I know is happening out there in streets all over the city. And now that we have leadership that is sort of indiscriminately determining who belongs and who doesn't, like this cop that pulled my brother over when he was 12. You don't look like somebody that belongs. I can determine just by looking at you that you're a good person or you're not a good person. And knowing that there's so much bias and so much racism and so much ignorance that fuels those kind of choices, I worry for people of color all over this country.
Who says that? I drive around in a 4-car motorcade with a police escort. I'm Michelle Obama. All right. I drive around a 1998 Toyota Celica. I'm Rob Finnerty. Who talks like that? Michelle Obama talks like that. Michelle Obama is still stuck in 2008. And the tropes and themes that were in vogue with Democrats back then that her husband rode right into the White House. Race, 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 race. Race, 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 race. It's always all about race. It's always about race. I worry about people of color is a very odd thing for the first ever black first lady to say. It's also a very odd thing for the wife of the first black American president in history to say. Michelle Obama, not everything is about race. America elected a black president twice, so drop it. Stop calling white America racist. Drop it. Enough. People are sick of it. And if you need proof of that, if you need proof that people are sick of it, Just take a look at what happened on November 5th.
How do you feel comfortable going to work, going to school, when you know that there could be people out here judging you and who could upend your life in a second? That's who I worry for right now.
How do you feel comfortable going to work and going to school when you know there could be people out there judging you? That keeps me up at night. That's what Michelle said. That keeps her up at night. Think about that. Michelle, take a melatonin, relax. You've got a fantastic, stupendous life. Go to bed. You're fine. I don't even know what that means, and neither does Michelle. I have never once lost an ounce of sleep because people I don't know might be judging other people I don't know. And that doesn't make me a bad person. That just makes me an actual, real person. Something that just does not exist in the Democratic Party anymore. As Michelle Obama morphs into a symbol of everything that is not working for the Democratic Party today. Michelle Obama today lives in a mansion on Martha's Vineyard, and they write about this mansion. The headlines, it only has 8 bathrooms. Not that there's anything wrong, by the way, with living in a mansion. I would adore that house. That would be fantastic. I would never leave that house. I wouldn't even come to the studio. I'd do the show from there, or I wouldn't do the show. Look at that walkway. Although that is not a great pond to be kayaking in or paddleboarding in. That's another story for another day, but stay away from that pond. The house is great, though. The governor of Illinois is also giving Democrats those same warm, fuzzy feelings inside right now, although I don't think that J.D. Pritzker is starting any Let's Move fitness campaign anytime soon like Michelle Obama did. J.D. sort of went the other way with that one. Take a look.
Never before in my life have I called for mass protests, for mobilization, for disruption, but I am now. These Republicans cannot know a moment of peace. They have to understand that we will fight their cruelty with every megaphone and microphone that we have. We must castigate them on the soapbox and then punish them at the ballot box.
Yeah, Kamala Harris is going to make a speech tonight. You got AOC. But that's what Democrats have right now. Michelle Obama, J.D. Pritzker. That's what they've got. Michelle and J.D. There's a big difference between those two names and Donald Trump and every other Democrat in Washington that I've seen. And I'd love to be proven otherwise right now. I'd love to be proven wrong, but there's just not. Democrats don't get it. After 10 years of Donald Trump, they don't get it. Donald Trump wins because Donald Trump is authentic. Donald Trump is authentic and people love him for it. Not everyone, but enough people to the point where Donald Trump has been elected president of the United States twice, and that authenticity was on display once again last night.
Because he had one ability I didn't have. He goes to the beach, right? And he could fall asleep on a cottage drooling out of the side of his mouth, and he'd be sleeping within minutes. Carrying the aluminum chair, you know, the kind that's meant for old people and children to carry. It weighs like about 4 ounces. And he couldn't get his feet out of the sand. And he'd sleep, he'd fall on this thing, and with it, and he'd have, you know, he's president, so you'd have cameras. He'd be in a bathing suit. Somebody convinced him that he looks great in a bathing suit. He's 82 years old. Cary Grant didn't look great in a bathing suit when he was 82.
Did you hear that? What you just heard is the President of the United States talking about Joe Biden carrying a beach chair on the beach and then making a comparison between Joe Biden and an 82-year-old Cary Grant, the Hollywood actor, in a bathing suit. Not only is that just funny to visualize, Cary Grant, not that one, that's a young Cary Grant, but Cary Grant in a bathing suit with Joe Biden. He is the only politician in American history who could say that, and then the next day, no one mentions it. We Googled it. We looked it up. That was the extent of our research. But as of right now, I am the only person in the media who has mentioned that Donald Trump bought up Cary Grant in a bathing suit during an address to the nation last night in front of millions of people. And that's why people love Donald Trump. He is authentic. He is real. What you see is very often exactly what you get. He is also the only politician in America willing to do this to people who clearly hate him.
Do you think the reputation of the United States has gone down? under your presidency?
No, I think it's gone way up, and I think we're a respected country again. We were laughed at all over the world. We had a president that couldn't walk up a flight of stairs, couldn't walk down a flight of stairs, couldn't walk across the stage without falling. We had a president that was grossly incompetent. You knew it, I knew it, and everybody knew it, but you guys didn't want to write it because you're fake news.
All right. Thank you.
And by the way, ABC is one of the worst. I have to be honest with you.
Thank you.
Why don't you just push back? I don't know that anchor's name. I don't want to know that anchor's name. ABC News is the worst. And he says, thank you. I would hope if the president said that to me, I would have the presence of mind to say, why do you feel that way about ABC News? We know why he feels that way. Donald Trump knows who he is. That is a man who is comfortable in his own skin. He never pretends to be something that he's not. If Donald Trump goes to the border, he wears a suit at the border. He doesn't change his wardrobe just because he's at the southern border in Texas. He doesn't suddenly dress like he's on safari, okay? He dresses like he's Donald Trump, just Donald Trump at the border. Remember when Joe Biden went to Africa this fall? He addressed the crowd and then he wandered off into the bush in his Joe Biden, I'm in Africa outfit. There he goes. Joe, where are you going? It's hot in Africa. What are you doing? And then he wandered off into the wild, into the nature with Toucan Sam. And Karine Jean-Pierre 2 days later said, no, there were people back there that he was talking to. People, maybe natives. Who was back there? There's nobody back there. He's in the middle of the jungle. Take a look. And the media said this guy was ready for another 4 years. Democrats just do not get it. Remember Tim Walz this fall hunting, right? Like he literally went with his team to Cabela's and spent, Kamala burned $1 million. Check that, $1 billion in 106 days. And he bought the whole outfit, still had the tags on it. They were like, how do you crease a hat? He was like, this is how you crease a hat, right? Went out hunting. I can't remember what, birds, quail, something. I don't do it, but he did it, right? Didn't shoot anything, nothing. Didn't shoot anything. The dog was starving by the end of the day. There was nothing for him to do, nothing for him to get. Why would he do? Donald Trump, if he did that, he wouldn't, first of all. His son, Don Jr. would. Eric would. Don would wear a suit, okay? The only time Donald Trump is not in the suit is when he's playing golf. He might wear the suit to bed. I don't know. So here we go. Michelle Obama, J.B. Pritzker, Kamala Harris, you name the Democrat. None of these people are authentic in any way. And until they grasp this very basic concept, they will continue to pin their hopes on people like Michelle Obama. And that could happen. That could absolutely happen.
Information. Truth. Is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.